Hello everybody, welcome to our market report. Today we're Thursday, March 1st. So today is going to be an educational chronicle. We're going to talk about a bullish divergence on the MACD. So first of all, what is MACD? Look at here on the graph. So MACD, I chose one of 728.7. So MACD is almost something that measures the upward momentum or the downward momentum. So when you see that the MACD is going up, that means that there's an upward momentum was in the way. As you can see here, when the MACD was heading up, the yellow line and the green line were all heading up. You see that the stock started to rise. And when you see that the yellow line and the red line are heading down, that was the downward momentum that the stock had. So that said, it's pretty simple. This here, the red lines, it's a histogram. So this histogram represents the length between the yellow line and the green line. So the stronger of this histogram is, which means that there's more downward momentum. So as you can see here, this histogram was pretty high and the stock really dropped on the month of September. So what is an upward divergence? An upward divergence is this, what I'm showing you right now at the moment. You see here on the month of September, the stock made a bottom and the MACD, the yellow line and the red line crossed each other and started to head up. So that means that we had a moment to buy the stock. And as you can see here, ever since the yellow line and the green line started to go up, the stock totally rose. So that was an entry point on D3 exploration. But the stock also reached the same bottom on the month of December. As you can see here with this line, so it did it in the month of September, it tested it again in the month of December, and it did it again in the beginning of 2012. But what happened in 2012? When the stock tested this bottom, that's where it is right now at the moment, when you see here with the yellow line and the red line crossing each other. But look at the histogram. The histogram was not as strong. So that shows you that the downward momentum is losing strike. Yes, it reached the bottom, but the histogram is showing that we don't have the same momentum. So what does that say? That says that there is an upward divergence on the MACD, and eventually, when you see that the downward momentum is losing strike, well then, we're going to have an upward momentum that's going to come soon. So where would be an ideal entry point on that stock? Could be two possibilities, depending how risk averse you are. Let's say that you like to take risk and you're just willing to get in at not any price, but when you see that divergence. Well, then you just get in here within the Saturday formation when you see those two stocks, when the divergence here, when you see that the red line, not the red line, the green line and the yellow line crossing each other. You could get in here, but be aware that your exit point will be if ever it goes lower than that support here. So you could get in at about 204 and your exit point will be at about 187. So you see the length and the width is not really strong. But an ideal entry point will be on the reversal of that downward trend. So on the breakout here. So here, that will be an ideal entry point because whenever the stock broke through that resistance, there's really nothing to stop it. So the stock continued to rise ever since it reversed the downward trend and broke through that support. Even if you got in here, you still have to put your stop loss below 187 because this is the price in which if ever the stock goes lower, well then the bottom that is confirming here was totally a false signal. So this is an upward divergence. This is what you should take into account. So as you can see here, when you see that the yellow line and the green line are crossing each other, it confirms the bottom. You also have to see that to determine if the downward momentum is less there. You have to see the histogram. If the histogram is showing you, as you can see here on this bottom, that we have less downward momentum compared to the one that we had in September, that shows you that soon we're going to have a reversal of the downward momentum. So we're going to have an upward momentum, but you still have to wait to see to be ideally enter into that stock. You still have to wait to see for the stock to reverse its downward trend. And that was here on that price on D3 exploration. And never forget to put your stop loss whenever the stock reverse and gets lower than the bottom, which is the support around here. So this is decisionplus.com for our market report. So see you next week for another market report. And don't forget to always follow us on facebook.com/decisionplus. Thank you.